Start the Python 3 idle application. In Windows, type idle into the search bar, then select the idle Python 3.6.3. I'm using the 32-bit application. Idle is Python's integrated development and learning environment. The Python application starts in the shell environment. The shell environment is an interactive, immediate environment used for running code. This interactive, immediate environment is often used for running a single statement or command line. Today we want to create a project file, so we are going to use the text editor. Select File, New File, and as you can see, the file opens with the name Untitled. It's always good practice to give all your file names a meaningful name. So let's save it. File, Save As, Lesson 1, Strings, Python Living Things. Then add your initials. If you're working with a partner, add your partner's initials and add .py. All Python folders end in .py and save inside your folder. Your file name now appears at the top of the window. Select the top line in the editor and type the Task 1 description. So Task 1, start idle, save the file and enter comments. At the beginning, put the hash symbol, and you will notice that text changes to red. This indicates it's a comment. Comments provide detailed information about your code. The Python interpreter ignores comments when running code, and they appear in red in idle. On the next line, type the following: the hash symbol. The hash sign at the beginning of a statement represents a comment in Python. On the next line, start the statement with 3 single quotes. 1, 2, 3. Then type the following: a pair of triple quotes can be used to represent multiple line comments in Python, and end the statement with 3 single quotes. Again, Python ignores all comments. If you look at the top, you can see an asterisk at the beginning of the file name. This tells you that your file is not saved. So click File and Save, or Control S. That's the end of Task 1. Task 2. Create a string using single quotes with comments. A string is text. A string is simply a sequential list of characters. A character is anything that you can type on the keyboard with keystrokes, like a letter, a number, a symbol, or even a space. There are 3 ways you can create or declare a string in Python: using single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes. Type the following into the text editor. Task 2. Remember the hash symbol to say it's a comment. Create a string using single quotes with comments. On the next line, type the following: Print. Taxonomy is the science of naming, describing and classifying living things. Make sure you include single quotes at the beginning and at the end of the statement. You are declaring a string using single quotes. Select File and Save. Always save your file. And then select Run. As you can see, it opens the shell environment, and here you can see taxonomy is the science of naming, describing and classifying living things. Just pull it down. We have declared a string and we've used the print function. The print function is an inbuilt function in Python and prints whatever value you place inside the print function's parentheses. So whatever you place inside these brackets or parentheses, it will be output in the shell environment. That's the end of task 2. Task 3. Type the following comment into the text editor. Hash symbol task 3. Create a string using double quotes and triple quotes. On the next line, type the following. Print. Classification is the arrangement of organisms or living things into groups based upon their similarities. Note that we are putting the string in double quotes at the beginning and at the end. We are declaring and creating a string. As you can see the asterisk. Save your file, Control S, and then run your file. And you can see classification is the arrangement of organisms, living things, into groups based upon their similarities. So we have declared a string using single quotes and double quotes. We are now going to use triple quotes to declare a string. Type the following. Print. Triple quotes. Carl Linnaeus is described as the father of taxonomy. Save your file, Control S, then run your code. Here you can see Carl Linnaeus is described as the father of taxonomy. So we have now created and declared a string with single quotes, double quotes and triple quotes. That is the end of task 3. Type the following comment into the text editor. Task 4. Solve problems using the escape character with single quotation marks. Code runs sequentially. When we select Run and select F5, it will run the statement first, then this one, then this one. In task 4, we're going to just see task 4 in the shell environment. So what I'm going to do is to turn the print statements into comments. So place the cursor in front of the print statement and put the hash symbol, and you can see it turns red immediately. Do the same for task 3 and the following statement. They have now all become comments. Type the following. Print. open the parentheses or brackets, and then single quotes to declare and create a string at the beginning and at the end. A famous quote from Carole Linnaeus, and here is Carole Linnaeus's quote inside single quotes. Problems arise when creating strings using single quotes in the Python interpreter, when quotation marks are included within the body of the text. And you can see immediately there is a problem. We're going to run that code and you will see an error. First of all, Control S to save the code, and then we're going to run the code. And you can see immediately invalid syntax. As you can see here, it thinks that this is the end of the string. There's the opening quote and there's the closing. And it doesn't know what this is, so it's given an error. To get around this, we use what's called an escape character. An escape character tells the Python interpreter that the quotation mark is a piece of text, a character. So we will put a backslash, and then it will tell the Python interpreter to print that quotation mark. And we will put a backslash here. And again, it will tell Python to print that quotation mark. So now these are the end of the strings, the beginning of the end of the strings, and these are to be printed out. Save the file, Control S, and this time we will run the code. And there you can see the quotation marks have been printed. The \n escape character tells the Python interpreter to create a new line. Copy and paste the following statements from your student help file Word document found inside your folder into the text editor. When you've done that, add single quotes to declare the statement as a string. After the word Sweden, here, type \n to create a new line. You'll then Control and S to save the file and F5 to run the code. Copy and paste the statement. And here you can see the end of the statement. Inside the parentheses, put a single quote. Go to the beginning of the statement. Now put another single quote. After the word Sweden, enter a \n, which is the escape character for a new line, and press delete to get rid of the white space after the \n. Control S to save your file, then F5 to run your code. As you can see, we now have a new line. Task 5. Type the following comment. Task 5. Use double quotes to surround the text if there are punctuation marks within the body of the text. Underneath, type the following. Print. A famous quote from Carole Linnaeus: "If a tree dies, plant another in its place." Previously, we used single quotes and we had to use the escape key because there were quotation marks inside the parentheses. However, we can use double quotes and double quotes at the end. If we use double quotes, we do not have to use the escape key. Control S to save the file and F5 to run the file. As you can see here, a famous quote from Carole, "If a tree dies, plant another in its place," and you can see the inside quotation marks. A general rule: if your text or string includes punctuation marks, then use double quotes to surround the text within the parentheses. Then you do not need to use the escape character. First thing I'm going to do is to change all the statements into comments. Put a hash sign and a hash sign. So let's do another print statement. And I'm going to add single comments. To the beginning and the end. Now the single comments declare it as a string. However, immediately you can see problems using single quotes. Here we have a contraction for "we are", so we would have to use escape characters / for them to be printed. An easier way is to change the single quotes to double quotes. By doing this, you do not have to use escape characters. So Control S to save your file and F5 to run your code. And you can see immediately that the contractions type, and you do not have to worry about the escape character if you use double quotes. That's the end of task 5. In task 6, we're going to use triple quotes with multiple lines. From your Lesson 1 Student Help File Word document inside your folder, copy and paste the following 4 statements into the text editor. And here are the 4 statements, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to add double quotes or speech marks inside the parentheses, where you will see a problem occur immediately. Type the following comment: Task 6, use triple quotes with multiple lines. From your student folder, now copy and paste the 4 statements. This time we're going to put, first of all, double quotes around the statements. At the beginning, double quotes at the end. Immediately, as I said before, you can see problems. It likes the first statement, but there are problems on the second, third and fourth. With double quotes, you have to use the escape character \n to show end of line. I'll run the code, Control S to save, and F5 to run the code. Immediately you can see a syntax error, and we've got an end of line while scanning the string literal. Let's close that. We need to use triple quotes if we're going to use multiple statements within the parentheses. So remove the double quotes and enter triple quotes. And again at the end, enter triple quotes. Control S to save, and then F5 to run your code. There you can see the shell open, and there you can see the 4 statements on 4 separate lines. So if you have multiple lines within your string, use triple quotes. Then you don't have to worry about using the escape character \n to create a new line. If you use double quotes, you must use \n to create a new line, whereas if you have multiple lines, you use triple quotes and you don't have to worry about the escape characters.